Good morning, and welcome to Mrs. Bell's Sweet Treats and More. I'm glad to be with you today. Today is Monday, so this is Monday Moments. A few weeks back, we talked about vegetables and fruit, and we visited, some of you visited the choosemyplate.gov site with me, and we also did a survey about vegetables and fruit. What was your preference? Most chose fruit, and last week we roasted vegetables. Today we're going to take that up a notch and we're going to make zucchini bread. Now, zucchini bread was new for me. I didn't find that, would not have thought that zucchini bread could be so good. I thought zucchini was a vegetable, which it is, and I couldn't imagine cooking with it to make bread, but it makes the most moist, delicious bread and you can combine it with other fruit and even nuts. But right now we're just going to start on our zucchini bread recipe for today. This is the zucchini. It's a beautiful vegetable, rich in vitamin A and vitamin C. And when I go to the grocery store to get my vegetables, I always take a look for any abnormalities. We want to make sure it's firm. And for this recipe, we use a little bit less than 2 cups. So this will give me about, one medium zucchini will give you about a cup of zucchini once it is grated. The zucchini, grating it, including the peel, is not a problem. The peel bakes just like the inside vegetable. So I'm going to start. You look for zucchini that are beautiful and green. I have 2 different sizes, and they can come huge. This one is a little too small for what I'm going to do. This one's about right, so I'm going to use this one. I begin by cutting the end off of my zucchini. I cut off the butt and I cut off the top. Now I'm going to grate this zucchini. It's going to take a little bit, so I'm going to grate it and get back with you shortly. All right, this is my grater. It's called a box grater, and it has multiple sides that you can grate cheese or any other vegetable or whatever it is you may be cooking. You can actually shred meat on it as well. I'm going to take the side with the holes like these, and these are very sharp, so you have to be careful. I'm just going to show you how I do mine. You may do it better. And I'm just going to do a little bit of shredding, and then I'm going to pause it and then finish and then come back with you. Okay, so I take it on an angle and I just push it against there. And right now it's okay, and then I turn it a little because it starts to not go. And then I turn it again. I just keep turning it. And when you're shredding this, you can get a good workout. You keep going. The closer to the blades you get, you want to be careful. Okay, I'm coming to the end of my zucchini, and I just keep going. And you can actually cut it if you like. But with grating zucchini, it's full of a lot of liquid. I'm going to put the zucchini, take it, and I could have done this differently, and put it right here and scrape off the zucchini right in the middle of the towel. And you be careful because you can cut yourself. Okay, so I take all my zucchini, and you can see it's quite a bit. And then I wrap my towel around my zucchini because I want to twist it. like we're doing the twist on the towel. And I'm turning it one way on one side, and then on the other side I'm turning it the other way so I can do, and you'll see so we're going to twist out, and you can see all that fluid coming out of there, all of that zucchini juice. We don't want that in our bread. We want to limit the amount of liquid we have in our bread, and we don't want to use it all in zucchini juice. So I keep twisting till I get all, as much as I can, out of there. And the towel I'm using, what I find interesting, I picked up these, they're like sacks, potato sack bag, or just a little thin towels. I found some at Walmart, and I use them for a lot of things. They clean well, but they also can be used in cooking. So I'm still squeezing. As I mentioned, zucchini is rich in vitamin A and C, and it can be, if you ever have zucchini and you do the grating, you can also freeze what you've grated. This is the juice I got from the zucchini, got quite a bit. I put my zucchini now in my bowl, and this is what I'm going to use to make my bread. And I'm going to show you what it looks like. I just want to get it out of the cloth. And it smells like a vegetable. And you may be wondering, if you've never had zucchini bread, you may be wondering, how is this going to taste? Interesting enough, if you, once you make the bread, you should wait till it's all the way cool. If you eat it hot, or if you eat it warm, you'll still taste the vegetable. But when you let it cool all the way down, you don't taste the vegetable. Okay? And this is what our zucchini looks like. The oven is turned to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I use my bread pan, which I butter and flour, and put that aside. You can use the sprays. There's Pam and different sprays. That's fine. Sometimes the breads may not come out, and sometimes I use parchment paper, cut a piece, and just put it in the bottom of the pan so it'll come up. Once it's baked, the bread or whatever I'm cooking will come out more easily. So we're now going to work on the ingredients. There's brown sugar and white sugar. We're using eggs, vegetable oil, vanilla, all-purpose flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. The zucchini, and you can add nuts if you like. We're going to begin with the flour. I've measured out 3 cups of flour, and I'm choosing to put it through this sieve to get any lumps out. You can certainly just use the flour and add the baking powder and all of the baking powder, the baking soda, the salt, the cinnamon, and the nutmeg, and just incorporate it in a bowl using a fork. And I've used this as well. However, there are times, I'm from the day when we used the sifter, and we would put the ingredients, the flour or whatever is in there, to get rid of lumps. So I'm just doing this today, but you certainly do not have to use this. You can just put it in a bowl and mix everything. Here I have 3 cups of unbleached all-purpose. You can certainly use all-purpose. It's not going to change the flavor. I use unbleached. And there's a teaspoonful of baking soda, baking powder, and salt. There's 3 teaspoons of cinnamon that I've added here. And then there's a teaspoon of nutmeg. So I'm putting all this in here. And you smell the cinnamon and the nutmeg. They smell delicious. I'm almost done. And then you'll notice that they're can be little harder particles. I just dump those. And so this is 3 cups of flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, baking soda, baking powder, and salt. So I'm putting that aside. Is we're going to beat 3 eggs. We have a cup of oil, vegetable oil, 3 teaspoons of vanilla, and a cup of brown sugar and a cup of white sugar. And I'm going to mix that together. I usually wait to do my eggs. I keep my ingredients room temperature, but I wait to do my eggs. I've not had a lot of rotten eggs, but I have. So I take my time with my eggs. For this recipe, we're going to beat the eggs for a minute, for a few moments, and they are room temperature. There's 1, 2. These are large eggs. You can use brown eggs or white eggs, whatever you have on hand. And I just do a little beating. You want the yolks and the whites mixed well blended. So to this, I'm going to add the sugar. I'm just going to pour the egg in here. I have a cup of brown sugar and a cup of regular sugar. Now I'm adding vanilla as well, and I'm going to add the oil, but I like to add, my preference is adding my vanilla to my egg. I don't know, it's just something about those two together for me. And it's 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract. You can use vanilla, make sure it's pure vanilla flavoring or extract. And then I'm going to stir it into my brown sugar and white sugar and incorporate it as well. I don't know about you, but my mom used to cook, and she did a marvelous job with the limited resources. I don't know how she did it. Back in the day when there was no sweet potatoes or yams, sweet potatoes, they had potato pie, and potato pie was made with white potatoes, and you couldn't really tell the difference. It was a poor man's potato pie. Okay, and then I'm pouring in now 1 cup of vegetable oil. And I'm going to go slowly because I want it to get in there. I haven't added the flour. When you add flour, you have to be, I have had to learn that the flour can't be beaten to death, because it starts, it gets tough. So I'm mixing this in, taking my time. I've made this with oil and I've made it with butter. And I think I'm kind of partial to both. All right then. after we do get this going together. Then we're going to work on adding it to our flour mixture. Okay, so we're going to cream this together with our flour mixture. I'll use my spatula to scrape down everything I can. It smells so good. The cinnamon and the nutmeg have a flavor and a smell that when they're together, they kind of bounce off of each other to me. And they make me think of baking at home. I have a black spoon that's one of my favorites to use. Once I get this all done, because it helps to combine. Trying to get everything off the bottom. Now we're going to add the zucchini to our mixture. Now this recipe calls for, you can add nuts to this, you can add raisins to it, you can add craisins, and some people have added pineapple, 1/3 of a cup of chocolate. It's strictly up to you. It doesn't seem like this would make sense to add chocolate to a vegetable, but remember we talked about perspective, how we see things, how things look, and how we take something in or believe something about it. So if you haven't tried it, try it before you don't like it or say it. Because sometimes things that don't make sense really aren't supposed to. So I'm adding a cup of pecans, roughly chopped pecans. And, oh, it smells so good. I'm not trying to beat it, I'm trying to get it. Alrighty. Making sure you get that bottom and the sides. And this is what it looks like. Okay. In my pan, and I'm gonna fill it. This makes 2 small cakes, or it makes 4 of the smaller ones. It just depends on what you want to do. I just wanted to make 1 bread. My mom used to be much better at certain things, scooping and organizing. I just get it done. So I put my bread into the pan. And I'm going to put it in the oven, 350 for about 55 minutes. But it depends on your oven. Don't go by mine. You get the last of this. You want it to cook all all the way through. So I'm just going to pop it in the oven, and I'll be back with you shortly. Hello and welcome back. The bread is ready to come out of the oven, and it's cooked about 50 minutes. This is our zucchini bread. And I know you can't smell it, but I wish you could. We made this with fresh zucchini that was grated. We added cinnamon and eggs, vanilla, the usual ingredients for bread, and which are a little different, cinnamon and nutmeg. I added nuts to mine, but again, you can add chocolate if you want chocolate. You can add raisins or craisins. You can add pineapple to your bread mixture, or you could just leave it as it is. I added pecans to mine. My husband loves nuts, so I added pecans. I added a cup of slightly chopped pecans. You can have big or small. I hope you enjoy this and like this on my page. And this was one of my favorites to do. It is a vegetable-ish, but once you let it cool, I think you'll enjoy it. You can slather it with butter if you like, or cream cheese, but make sure you eat it cool or cold, because then you won't taste the zucchini unless you want to. Thank you. I enjoyed making this, and together we can do this. If I can do it, certainly anyone can. I hope you let me know how you like it, how it turned out for you, what you did, and enjoy your day. Talk soon. Bye-bye.